Every December, the town of Hollow Pines grew quieter. Snow buried its streets, the lake froze solid, and whispers of old legends stirred in firelit homes. The locals, especially the older ones, had a superstition: never walk near Winter Lake after the first snowfall. Nobody talked about it openly, but everyone remembered the disappearances. Every year, someone would vanish without a trace, only to reappear beneath the ice. Frozen faces staring up as if pleading for help. The lake didn't kill its victims outright. It waited, like a hunter with endless patience. This year, a group of teens decided to break the rules. "Come on, it's just a stupid lake," Darren scoffed as he kicked at the frozen shore. The ice was pristine, untouched by even the softest snowfall. Behind him, Clara adjusted her scarf nervously. "We're not seriously doing this, right?" "You scared?" teased Jenny, smirking as she pulled out her phone to record the scene. "Relax, Clara. It's just ice. People fall in all the time. Big deal." "No one's fallen in," Clara whispered. "They've disappeared." Darren rolled his eyes. "That's just old town nonsense to keep kids from having fun. Right, Luke?" Luke, the quiet one of the group, stared out at the frozen expanse. The surface seemed too smooth, almost unnatural, reflecting the pale gray sky like a mirror. He shrugged, not wanting to argue, but something about the lake made his skin crawl. The group had come for a dare, a little excitement in an otherwise sleepy town. Armed with flashlights and too much teenage bravado, they stepped onto the ice. The first step sent a shiver up Clara's spine. She felt as though the lake was alive, watching them. Jenny laughed, sliding across the surface with exaggerated flair. "See? Nothing to worry about. Just don't fall in," Darren warned, though his tone was mocking. Luke lingered near the edge, his unease growing. His breath fogged the air, but as he looked down at his reflection, he noticed something strange. The ice beneath his feet wasn't clear, as he expected. It was cloudy, rippling slightly, as though water still moved below. And then he saw it, a face, faint and pale, staring up at him. "Guys," Luke called out, his voice tight. "We need to go." "What's your deal?" Darren asked, sliding closer. "I'm serious," Luke said, backing toward the shore. "Something's wrong with this place." Before he could say more, Clara screamed. They turned to see her sprawled on the ice, her flashlight rolling away. Beneath her, faint figures pressed against the surface. Hands, faces, their frozen mouths open in silent cries. The ice groaned, splitting faintly beneath her weight. "Help!" Clara shrieked, scrambling to her feet. Darren rushed to pull her up, but as he reached out, the ice cracked louder, a sound like thunder rolling beneath them. Clara's eyes went wide as something beneath the surface moved, a shadow, inhumanly fast, spiraling toward her. "Run!" Luke shouted, grabbing Jenny's arm and yanking her toward the shore. Darren pulled Clara upright just as the shadow reached them. The ice erupted, sending jagged shards flying into the air. A skeletal hand, blackened and claw-like, burst through the surface, grabbing Clara's ankle. Her scream cut through the frozen air as she was yanked down. Darren lunged for her, grabbing her arms, but the force pulled them both toward the gaping hole in the ice. Luke and Jenny reached the shore and turned back, their breaths hitching. Clara was gone, the ice already freezing over the spot where she'd stood. Darren clawed at the surface, his face a mask of terror, but the ice beneath him cracked again. "Help me!" he cried, his voice breaking. Luke took a step forward, but Jenny grabbed his arm. "Don't! You'll fall in too." "We can't just leave him!" The ice groaned one final time before collapsing. Darren vanished into the freezing depths, his scream echoing before cutting off abruptly. The lake was silent again. The remaining two ran back to town, breathless and shivering. They tried to tell the authorities, but the story sounded absurd. "The lake took them," Jenny sobbed, but the sheriff shook his head. "Kids wander off in storms," he said, his tone hollow. "They'll turn up." They didn't. The next morning, Luke returned to the lake alone. He needed to see it again, to know for sure. The snow had started falling, soft and relentless, but the lake remained eerily untouched. As he stepped closer, his heart stopped. Beneath the ice, Clara and Darren's faces stared back at him, their eyes wide with terror, their mouths frozen in silent screams. Luke stumbled backward, nearly slipping. He wanted to run, but his feet wouldn't move. That's when he noticed another face, fainter, deeper in the ice. It wasn't Clara or Darren. It wasn't anyone he knew. It was older, gaunt, with hollow eyes that seemed to watch him. And it was smiling. The disappearances continued, as they always did. Every December, the lake claimed its victims, adding to its frozen gallery of faces, and no one ever saw Luke again. And as the darkness fades, remember, the real chills linger long after the story's end. Until next time, brave souls.